So last time we talked about preparing for Japan, and this time we're going to talk about what you should take with you to Japan, which is going to include the best way to exchange money, what kind of clothes you should bring, toiletries, food, and gifts. Now, of course, before you can go to Japan, the most important thing you need is your passport, because you can't get into the country without it. Now, if you're going to be studying abroad, or if you're going to be working in Japan, you'll also need a visa, but your place of employment or your school will take care of that for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. If you just want to visit Japan, if you're one of 36 different countries, you can participate in the visa waiver program, which means you don't need a visa at all. All you have to do is just arrive in Japan with your passport and a flight ticket out of Japan within those 90 days or 3 months, and that's all you need. Now, technically, they want you to prove that you have enough money to survive in Japan for the amount of time that you're going to be there. They don't usually check, but as long as you have some credit cards, you should be okay. But you're not going to go to Japan without money anyway, so what's the best way to get your money there? You can take cash to Japan and exchange it at the airport or large post offices or some banks, but if you do that, they're going to give you a really crappy exchange rate and you're going to be really disappointed. You can take traveler's checks, which are safer than cash, and they'll give you a slightly less crappy exchange rate, but it'll still be kind of crappy. And you have to exchange your traveler's checks at a post office or the airport. You can't use them at any stores in Japan or anything like that. Now, what most people do is they withdraw money from their credit cards at ATMs in Japan. Now, not all credit cards can do this, and not all ATMs accept this, so make sure you do your research before you come to Japan without any cash at all. The ATMs and 7-Eleven convenience stores are probably your best bet for this because they accept most major credit cards. Keep in mind that your credit card might charge you a fee for this, though. The way I personally exchange money is by withdrawing money from an ATM with a Capital One bank debit card. It may not be the best way, but it's the best way I know how, because it charges no foreign transaction fees, no fees for using an ATM, and if the ATM itself charges you a fee, it even reimburses a set amount of that every month. And the 1% fee charged by MasterCard itself, Capital One eats that fee for you, and that makes it the only bank that does that. So you essentially get to exchange money for no fees at all. It's free. If you're paying attention though, you'll realize that I didn't say anything about the exchange rate that Capital One uses. And that's where things get tricky because it's difficult to pin down what the exact difference is between the actual exchange rate and the exchange rate that you receive is. Some companies hide fees by adjusting exchange rates. So how does Capital One's exchange rate compare? Well, this morning I took out 10,000 yen from my account, which withdrew $124.89. According to Google, at that time, 10,000 yen was worth $123.35, or the difference of $1.54. At the same time, according to xrates.com, 10,000 yen was worth $124.56, or the difference of 33 cents. So all in all, it doesn't look like Capital One is hiding much in fees in their exchange rate, if any at all. I do recommend doing your own research before making any decisions about money though, because for one, companies change their policies all the time and what might be true now might not be true later. As for what kind of clothes you should bring, it really depends on what time of the year it is, where in Japan you're going, and how much you want to conform to local standards. If you're going to be in central Japan around Tokyo, Nagoya, or Osaka, then in the winter at the coldest it gets maybe a little below freezing, but in the summer it gets to be upper 20s or a little over 30 or 80s to 90s Fahrenheit. But more than that, it's humid. It's extremely humid in Japan. It's so bad that sometimes you can be outside for just a couple minutes and then you'll be drenched in sweat. But what's even worse than that is Japan likes to keep their buildings really cold. So once you go inside, you need a jacket even though you are sweating outside. As for what Japanese people actually wear, well, I've linked to a really great resource for fashion and men and women down below. In general, Japanese people love layers and loose-fitting clothing. Guys, whatever you wear, you're probably going to be fine, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that. But for ladies, there are a couple different standards that most Japanese women tend to abide by. Japan is a leg country. It's acceptable to show off as much leg as you want here. Miniskirts, no problem at all. They frequently wear leggings or tights underneath those as well. And sometimes even the type that stops at your upper thigh, those are acceptable as well. However, Japanese women are very conservative when it comes to the chest area. They don't show anything at all. If you want to be really safe, I would keep it just a couple inches below your collarbone. There are of course exceptions, and as a foreigner you won't be held to the same standards anyway. However, as a woman with a low-cut shirt, you will be making a lot of Japanese boys blush. People will stare. Some people will stare openly, others will wait until you pass or turn away, but they will stare. No matter how much you like attention, eventually you will want them to stop staring, so make sure you at least bring something that's appropriate. In general, there are a few things that Japanese people don't usually wear as well, such as sweats, hoodies, or t-shirts of any kind that advertise your favorite band, TV show, anime, whatever. The exceptions to this would be Disney or Ghibli, though as a guy you're probably not going to want to wear those things anyway. They do have lots of shirts with English lettering on them, so that's fine, but if you have something with Japanese characters on it, don't bring it because they would not wear that here. They do wear Crocs though. And now for toiletries. In the interest of saving time, I've sped up the video, but if you want to see a picture more clearly, you can just pause it. This is the deodorant selection for men, which is tiny and inefficient. For women, they have a much greater variety, but it's a bit expensive and you're probably better off just bringing a stick from home. Men, you're definitely going to want to bring some from home too. They have the major foreign brands for shaving needs as well, like Gillette and Venus. The price for those isn't too far off from America, but with the exchange rate, it's probably cheaper to bring your own refills. Foreign shampoo brands include Herbal Essences, Vidal Sassoon, Pantene, Dove, and Lux. The bags on the bottom are for refills. As for lotions, cleansers, body wash, etc., they have all of that and more, though it seems like they don't really have shower gel, so if you use that, then you might want to bring some. Ladies, for your feminine hygiene products, they have all the regulars, though tampons are really pricey, so you might want to bring some from home. To save on space, just take them out of the box when you pack them. Panty liners and pads are really reasonably priced. I also recommend bringing your own pillow if you're picky about those types of things. If you stay in a dorm in Japan, chances are they'll provide you with a pillow that's full of these hard plastic bead type things, which is not very comfortable at all. I usually take my pillow as a carry-on on the plane, and then you can use it to sleep on the plane as well. If you get an airline that's picky, they might tell you to combine it with your carry-on item or your purse, so just bring a large bag and you can stick all of that in there together while you're going through the line, and then take it back out on the plane, that's fine. For electronics, Japan has 2-prong sockets and a lower voltage than most countries. So if you're coming from America, the only kind of adapter you need is one that takes a 3-prong plug to a 2-prong plug. You don't need anything for voltage. For food, they do have stores that sell international food here, but it's ridiculously expensive. For a box of cake mix that might cost $1 in America, it could cost you $8 or $10 here. They have a small variety of nuts, but they're very expensive. And if you like pecans, you can only get them at the International Food Store. If you bake, it's really difficult to find powdered sugar here, and chocolate chips and other toppings are not only extremely expensive, but the package sizes are extremely small. I've seen Nutella here as well, but the jar was also really tiny and it was expensive. The cereal selection here is really small too. They have a couple brand types, and then frosted, corn, or chocolate flakes or Krispies, as well as a few types of mixed cereals that have nuts and fruits that are really good, but they're really expensive. You can get pancake mix though. In general, if there's a food that you love and you're allowed to bring it across borders, so not meat or vegetables, then you might as well go ahead and just bring it. And of course, if you're coming to Japan, you should bring gifts. Gift giving is an important part of the culture here, and you'll give it to your coworkers, your host family, people who invite you over to their home. Chances are you'll end up giving a gift to someone, so bring a couple small things with you. The price is not important, and really you do not want to bring something too expensive because it puts a burden on the recipient to give you something expensive in return, which is kind of a rude thing to do. The easiest gift is just food. Some sort of food from your home country, like chocolates. It always works really well. Other common gifts include small things that are made in your home country or are representative of your state or culture. Daily necessities such as lotion or soap also works well. And if you run out of things or you can't think about anything, don't worry, you can also buy something in Japan. It doesn't have to be something from your home country. It's the thought that counts first and foremost, so don't stress out about it too much. Just to add in before I end here, something you do not want to bring to Japan is drugs. Do not bring drugs. Japan has a very, very strict anti-drug policy. If you get caught with drugs in Japan, they will deport you and they will ban you from entering the country again. If someone tries to mail you drugs, they will find you and then they will deport you and ban you from entering the country again. You are also not allowed to bring in medicine that has more than 10% pseudoephedrine, which is common in decongestants, or anything that contains methamphetamine or amphetamine. If you have to bring narcotics, you have to apply for a special permit, not the Yakan Shomei, and I've included a link for that down below. Other than that, if you have any questions on preparing for Japan or what you should bring, leave them in the comments below.